Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anybody who comes in. I'm telling you, man, every time I try to have a good spirit about things in this world, here come the devil with some more nonsense. Man, this stuff is really getting out of control. And I'm not talking about this YouTube bullshit. Y'all can go ahead and eat each other up, man, with words. I'm more concerned about the actions of the streets. I'm really concerned about the actions that are happening in these streets. If you fools want to get on here and give your money to people, then go ahead. Y'all do it. But y'all need to look out the window of your homes. I'm going to play two videos, and I want y'all to think about these going to be your kids. These going to be your nephews. This is what's going on in the world. Y'all on this YouTube tripping, and this is what's going on in the world, the real world. Give your money to these people, be damned with it. But look what's going on in the real world. This gonna be your nephews. This gonna be your sons. This could be you because they are doing it to innocent people on the streets. You could be in your house, coming out your house to go to the store, people. And it be your own people now, and the white folks is coming in your neighborhood with guns. Watch this video. Well, please watch this video. Let me bring it up first. I gotta do that, right? Okay, let's bring the video up. All right, let's do that. And then, I gotta go back and then play it first, then bring it up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting it together. Let's play the video.
Two people are dead. Three people are injured after a deadly shooting in Deep Ellum. The violence erupted as clubs were closing on Elm Street and officers were nearby. One of the men killed was out on bond for murder, and police believe he previously tried to rob the other man who was killed. Fox 4's Alex Boyer with details on this investigation. Alex.
Hi, guys. And there's a network of 25 security cameras in this area which captured the entire shooting. Dallas police say that the two men who died had beef with one another. Another guy who was shot was also involved in that shooting, and two bystanders are in the hospital.
People screaming, yelling, running.
Terror on the streets of Deep Ellum early Friday morning as gunfire erupted just as the bars were letting out.
We see people laying on the ground, shot. And it's like, what happened? No.
Well, that violent crime has left so many
families reeling,
and while some arrests have been made, that violent crime has left so many families reeling, and while some arrests have been made.
Let me see if I can get it back.
Two people are dead and three people are injured after a deadly shooting in Deep Ellum. The violence erupted as clubs were closing on Elm Street and officers were nearby. One of the men killed was out on bond for murder, and police believe he previously tried to rob the other man who was killed. Fox 4's Alex Boyer with details on this investigation. Alex.
Hi, guys. And there's a network of 25 security cameras in this area which captured the entire shooting. Dallas police say that the two men who died had beef with one another. Another guy who was shot was also involved in that shooting, and two bystanders are in the hospital.
People screaming, yelling, running.
Terror on the streets of Deep Ellum early Friday morning as gunfire erupted just as the bars were letting out.
We see people laying on the ground, shot. And it's like, what happened? There's no fights, no arguments.
According to Dallas police, 31-year-old Quentin Lowe was standing on the sidewalk near Elm Street and Malcolm X Boulevard. That's when Jermaine Lewis and his buddy Anthony Barrow approached. Police say all three men started shooting.
Our detectives determined that back on May 7th, Quentin Lowe was responsible for setting up an attempted robbery of Jermaine Lewis. So while he was in Deep Ellum, Lewis recognized Lowe, and that is when the shooting started.
Lowe and Lewis died from their injuries. Barrow was shot but survived. Investigators say 2 other men who were bystanders were also hit by gunfire. They were taken to the hospital and are expected to be okay.
And I took cover. I got up under the truck, to make sure that I didn't get hit.
Dallas police say Lowe was out on bond for a murder charge.
He was released in April of 2021 on a $250,000 bond for murder in Denton County.
This is Lowe's mugshot from that arrest, a 2018 incident in Louisville that stemmed from a fight over a parking space. Lowe allegedly shot and killed a man on a motorcycle.
Over a parking
Back in
space.
Deep Ellum,
I don't know what I think of Deep Ellum right now. I love this part of town, but it's kind of scary.
folks are shaken up. The deadly encounter happened the day after the Deep Ellum Foundation unveiled its security plan, complete with
All them
25 cameras, in response to repeated late-night disturbances. The police chief says preventing gun violence like this is a huge challenge.
If you look at the brazenness of what occurred in Deep Ellum, we had officers right there.
And in fact, some of those officers were the first to render CPR to the injured. Despite the quick resolution, some witnesses'
Both of 'em
sense
dead.
of security has been shattered.
One going to jail for murder of 2 people.
There's too much violence, It's
Yeah.
like
I don't think it's worth my life.
And we're told that Anthony Barrow could face criminal charges once he's released from the hospital. It's worth noting that Lowe was set to go to trial for his murder case in August. Anyone, of course, with any videos that might be pertinent to this investigation are asked to go to the Dallas Police Department. No additional information has been released about the condition of those bystanders.
He going to jail. Okay, let this other one play. I'm gonna let this other one play. Y'all gotta see this one too. Wait a minute. 1 second.
Now you can custom build and order your dream Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram today in store or completely online. Your custom order takes priority at the factory.
There it is.
Well, that violent crime has left so many families reeling, and while some arrests have been made, giving families
These
some
y'all
closure,
sons.
others are left in the dark. Well, that is the
These are
case
your
for the
sons,
family
people.
of Brian, Bradley, and Brandon Veal. An
My
unbelievable
children.
story we told you about in Eyewitness News 1 year ago. 3 brothers murdered within 7 days of each other. Now, from the time of their murders in February of last year until today, the Metropolitan Crime Commission recorded nearly 300 more homicides, leaving the Veal brothers'
Philadelphia,
father to
worse.
wonder if he'll ever get justice in his son's brutal murders. Here's my special report. In the dark, a
Young
family
people.
search for answers.
All young people.
Small yet priceless moments.
We really got a baby down there. We got a baby.
3 generations together.
This your big daddy. You're gonna know who this is, man, regardless. You're gonna know who this is. You have to. I see you, boy. This is who you're gonna rely on if something ever happened to me, man. Oh, wow.
We ask that you be with us in this service, Lord, that you would strengthen this family, Lord, my family, that you'll hold us up.
It's just such a senseless ambush.
They love their family, and their family loved them dearly.
I've saw reports of people losing multiple children in their lives, but 3 in 1 week, man, it's insane.
They were each other's best friends.
We will not give up. We will not stop.
All these murders, it's every night.
Barrage of bullets.
There's been a lot of violence in the city of New Orleans.
Kids are supposed to bury the parents. You're not supposed to bury your kids.
To see any family standing here together in our position.
My whole life has changed.
Fair use. Fair use on these videos.
Okay, I got one.
Fair use.
What do you call a deer with no eyes?
I don't know what you call a deer with no eyes.
I have no idea.
Silly kids. They were very silly.
Yeah.
They were a bunch of comedians. Yeah, they were just silly kids.
More than 1 year after losing Brandon, Brian, and Bradley Veal in 1 week, their family is still in the dark, both literally and figuratively. We're sitting here and we have you all in silhouettes because are you still living in some sort of fear? Or are you still kind of feeling like that you're in danger because this case hasn't been solved?
Definitely.
Man.
To know that
Man, oh man.
whoever the perpetrators are still walking around doing whatever, and we have no idea who they could be or who they are.
And while you haven't seen their faces, they've made sure their thoughts and voices are heard and seen. One of those voices is that of the boy's father, whose name we won't share.
Every day is just a painful moment. So anybody experiencing, death like that and then it being unsolved is a super unfairness.
I was with my brother and we were out of town hanging out. We parted ways and my brother was driving home and I got a call. And he was very upset and he began to tell me what had just transpired with Brian.
Brian Veal was shot and killed February 13th at Loyola and Washington in Central City.
I actually got a call from my son because his brothers was on scene.
Brian Veal, the middle child, was murdered on the corner of Washington and Loyola on February 13th of 2021.
Wow.
As their family says they always are, the brothers were together. Brandon wasn't hurt, but Bradley, the youngest brother, was hit twice.
He called me from jail.
They detained him?
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, they said that was the only way that they could contain them and get control of the scene.
It should be a normal thing to have hysterical brothers seeing their brother get murdered on the street.
We asked New Orleans police whether brothers, one who was suffering from 2 gunshot wounds, were allegedly detained. We didn't receive a response in time for this report, but we did request the incident
They
report.
involved in
And on it, no
gang
mention of the
activity,
brothers
man.
being
That's
detained.
sad, allegedly.
So you're learning that your son,
In my opinion, I think they got
was murdered.
That's sad, man.
Right.
And your other 2 sons
The
are
streets,
in jail. So
peer
those are
pressure
2
in the
things
streets. That's what your kids are.
at
That's what your kids are dealing with, people.
They were walking down the street and they told me that the guy
New Orleans, Philadelphia, Baltimore.
And they finally
Wake
pulled
up.
on him.
Y'all
And then
people
they
get off of
started
this
shooting
internet and get
out
your
of the
kids.
car. That's what he told
Get your
me.
brothers.
And when I talked
Get
with the
your
detectives,
sisters.
that's the same thing. They said they had civilians.
Get your uncles, man.
the car
Y'all love
pulling
y'all
up and
uncles.
just shooting.
Y'all love y'all uncles.
The surveillance video is likely from a camera close to the corner of Washington and Loyola, where an NOPD
Do y'all
crime
love y'all
camera is
uncles?
placed. Was that surveillance ever revealed?
Not to me. I haven't seen nothing.
Y'all love y'all brothers.
Should the Nixon
I'm
administration
talking about real
be
blood
forgiving?
brothers,
You know
blood
the answer
brothers.
to that.
Y'all love them? Let me turn this shit off. I'm sorry.
Mitchell.
No, let me let it play, cause I want y'all to hear this shit.
This family joined the ranks of so many families across New Orleans, devastated and confused. A bond between the Veal brothers broken, with Brian's life ripped from them in front of their very eyes. But Brian's murder was only the beginning of what would turn into a heartbreaking week for the family. You lose one of your sons, and a week later, can you kind of take us back to that particular day?
Earlier that day, my brother had gone up there to talk to his other 2 sons and the mother about getting everything finalized to
Yeah.
bury Brian.
And I had just sent them some money for them to eat that afternoon. My last words that I heard from them was, "We love you, Dad. Thank you. Thank you, Dad. We love you, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry."
Their father says the 2 brothers walked to the bank after speaking with their dad and later to a local McDonald's to get food.
And on their way back home to feed their mom and themselves, they were murdered. They were ambushed.
The father tells me detectives say a camera was also at the scene of that murder. Still, it wasn't captured.
If it had happened a couple of seconds sooner, they could have gotten it off of the street camera. And I'm like, are you serious? These cameras don't work like they're supposed to every second?
These boys were gentle giants.
I just want to debunk the whole idea about, African American men not taking care of their kids, and those boys were loved. They were not street kids. They were not castaways. They were not in that realm.
And it's just like every other murder in the city. You think that they did somebody wrong. That's why they were murdered. And that's the perception that people have when that's not the case.
And you're looking at 3 unarmed young black men. If they were into something, especially if my brother was gunned down 1 week and I'm coming out, I'm not coming out without being armed. if I'm into anything.
Exactly.
These kids were unarmed.
How do I say goodbye?
Yeah, that's crazy. These niggas are sick. I apologize to the family for what I just
A
said.
funeral for
I
one
see
within
that's
a
what you
week
gotta do. You
turned
gotta
into
hear the whole
funeral
family
for
before you
three.
make it.
One that wasn't highly publicized
Statement
out
on
of fear.
people, man.
We limited
called
who we
judging.
invited. I hired
And I shouldn't have
Jefferson
did that.
Parish just to make sure that we didn't have any kind of incidents there. We're like, we sit
It
here with you
sounds
today
like
knowing
telling the
exactly
truth.
what we knew
Sounds like
back
people are
then.
not.
Nothing.
But after that,
Nothing.
you don't go out there
It's so
not
hard
armed.
to say
crazy.
goodbye.
And it isn't for a lack of trying. Email correspondence between the brothers' aunt and
Let me
almost
stop
every
this
level
video.
of
Fair
city
use on
government
these
show
videos,
they've been
dog.
in constant contact for a year straight.
Stop
New Orleans
sharing.
police hope the donated billboard will be a visual reminder
All right,
leading to new information.
There were even billboards and bus stop signs.
Get back on my screen. We talk about this. Those two videos that you saw, they're different videos. And fair use on those videos. They're on YouTube. I guess I can use them. People, these are your children. People, these are your uncles. Do you love your uncles? Do you love your brothers? Do you love your children? Do you love them? Get off this fucking internet and get your kids, because they dying at a rapid pace. Then we got white folks coming in our neighborhood and shooting it up. And it's going to be more getting brave and braver by the moment that we do not start to protect ourselves. Listen, the other thing is this. If you don't pass 18 without a record, you don't get to buy a gun to protect yourself. You don't get to get your Second Amendment right. So stay out of trouble and then get a gun legally. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hard with the peer pressure in the neighborhoods to get around that, as we saw in that video. I really don't understand how three young men in the same family can get killed in the same week. That's crazy and odd. But that thing, I like to see what the final outcome of that is. I'm gonna keep my eye on that story. But listen, they are young men, dead and gone. And they look like they was nice young men. They laughed, had a good spirit. Listen, no young man should die before their parents. These guys should be getting old just like these white men do. Yeah, and it's a racial thing, because we doing it to ourselves. That's our race. We gotta stop, because we look like we looking bad out here, people. No, in the streets. And this the dumb shit that's going on, like I said on the internet, y'all go ahead and talk each other to death. But when you, in the meantime, look out the window and see where your child is at, because the bullets are flying. And one day it's going to come to your doorstep. And then when you going to say, oh, that ignorant ass Mark J wished this on me. No, I told you something. I tried to hit you to something. You know, if you ain't making a whole lot of money on it, go get your kids. And then again, a whole lot of money. Is that worth your uncle, your son, your nephew dying, leaving this world, and you never seeing them again? My name is Mark J, and I approve this message. People, get your kids. They dying out there. It's crazy. YouTube. This is what it is. Sad.